Before the world sees your wins, your soul has to feel your work. It's the reps nobody applauds that produce the wins that do, all through a shifting of your identity into a dominator. This is all done in the dark every single day. So let me be your guide as I welcome you to this episode of the Dark Work Daily. Hey, we're here. Thursday's arrived, and we are going to have a discussion today about something that's not always the easiest to talk about, but it's necessary at times, which is the idea of what I call the fog. The fog's an interesting place. I've lived in the fog, not recently, but for a good chunk of time I did, man. It was a space where my marriage was falling apart. Business wasn't doing too great. I genuinely found myself in a situation that was just challenging of not even wanting to live, to be honest. Like, this is a really, really dark place. I had a business that wasn't successful, a body that wasn't in shape. I'd lost my identity as a football player. But I had to keep getting up and going to work, being a dad, being a husband. I didn't know how to do it. I had never had an example of this. No one ever taught me how to navigate these hardships. All I'd known to that point was the difficulty of school and football. And then all of a sudden, life's on my doorstep with a wife and kids and mortgage and rent due to business and running a business and having a staff and having a team. I'm 25, 26 years old. I don't know what I'm doing, man. I don't think anybody's given the gifts of clarity at that moment in time for exactly how to navigate those parts of the world. And I did find myself in tricky situations, man, like really hard spaces. And when I look back to those moments in time, I look back to those situations, I call it the fog because I was in a position where I was getting up, eating food, going through the paces, but I didn't feel alive. I felt lethargic. I felt lazy. I didn't feel like I was being the man that I was supposed to be. And that was actually, it was corroborated, if you want to use that, and confirmed by the life I had around me. The lack of people, the lack of resources, the lack of time, the abundance of frustration and stress going on all around me. I'd created this life that I could not at the moment in time see was my own doing, but it was due to the fact that I'd mistaken the feeling of being lost with being lazy. I thought that I was lazy. I just was a lazy guy, and I didn't see myself in a certain light. The truth was I was just lost. See, the thing is that problems that people have, they typically face it with one skill set, and they face it with one ability. They don't realize they have so much more within them. I was a football player. All I knew was football. There was so much more to me than football, though. So much more I could navigate and figure out if I took the intangibles and applied them somewhere else. And then I realized that some of the problems that I've faced, they come from having skill sets only as well and no outcomes. So on one side of the coin, I go, I don't have a skill set for this. It's hard. On the other side, I have some skill sets, but I don't have the outcomes I'm looking for. So what happens, I feel like because I don't have the proof of the outcomes, I'm a lazy guy. And then I just didn't show up the way I was supposed to for my business. I had the energy to do things, but I didn't have the direction properly. I didn't have the direction clearly. And then so what for me happened was like I felt scattered. I felt like the effort was all over the place. It wasn't with who I saw myself to be. I wasn't doing things in alignment with my personal identity of Anthony. And I lost it. That's where I think the fog came into play. When I was getting up and I wasn't the same integrous man, I was drinking too much, hanging out with the wrong people, partying, doing stuff. It wasn't me. And then I found myself like I was putting energy out. Obviously, I was getting up, going through the motions. The business was doing what it was. Like I was obviously doing things, but it wasn't stuff that lit my soul on fire. So all I felt with this darkness, this heaviness of the life I was living. I didn't know how to change it. I didn't know how to adjust it. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't have the ability to swallow my pride long enough to have somebody give me insights and listen to them. Like I wasn't doing those things. And it did put me in a funky place where like I just would get up and again, go through the motions, man. It's a place you don't really want to be, but we oftentimes find ourselves living in. And then what I did over time was navigate this internal part of me and go, why are you where you're at? Why is your life like this? Why is your business like this? Why is your marriage like this? Why are you feeling this way? What are you doing, Anthony? And I would do that. And the more I would do that, the better it gave me clarity of what's going on. And the fog cleared up not because of all of a sudden the sun came out and life changed. The fog cleared up because I got less foggy on the problem and situation. I took vastly different ownership, was aware more of my own role in the entire situation of my life being what my life was at that time. I took a lot of internal ownership of the situations that caused external pain. The marriage falling apart, the business not doing good. I took internal ownership of what was my role within the whole thing. And then what happened was now I had this determination to change this, to fix this. Because if I had the control and I created this, then I had the control to create better. So I went through that process of creating better discussions, better conversations, better relationships, better actions by me. The better actions by me created a whole better life that I'd never thought was possible. And the more I lean into this life, the more I'm like, man, I love this thing. I want more of this and more of this. And I built more and more. But I had clarity at this point. I knew what I wanted most. I knew why I wanted it. I knew who I wanted involved in the whole process. The clarity led me to a place of having an understanding, a deep, deep understanding of myself and the situation. It took me out of the fog. It like legitimately like pulled me straight out of it, because now I wasn't lazy. I was in a position of no longer being lost. I was given the energy, but I was given the energy to the right thing that produced the right result, gave me a better outcome. That kind of freedom is something that it's a blessing in all levels of it, because it removes you from this foggy feeling of like, I can't do anything, I suck. And you just keep letting that thought roll around your head over and over again. And you start to think it's true and it's not. But the moment you play the game differently, you operate in a different space, it changes. So once you start thinking about, it's not about being lazy, it's about being lost. And stop, how explain this? Stop getting to a point where you can't take ownership. Stop blaming the world outside of you. Nobody cares. Why you do, work harder. And it's on you. You created the situation you're in, whether it was by your choices or what you allowed to be around you, but that's on you. And you have to step back and own this stuff and take this into your chest and go, all right, I got to work on this. And I don't care what somebody did or didn't do or said or didn't say. Your life's your responsibility. It's still got to be lived. So if you want to live a great life, you live your life great. You don't blame somebody else for what they did to affect your life. The only reason they affected your life is because you let them affect you in the manner they did. You don't like hearing it, but they did. And now you get to choose how the effect takes place. And there could be some heavy traumatic things. I totally get that. But we have a choice of how the next minutes, hours, days, and weeks of our lives unfold. We get to choose how these things affect us and how our life is lived. So for you, my friend, choose wisely so you can escape the fog. If this episode stirred something in you, good. That means there's work to be done. Don't ignore it, because listening is just the beginning. Because real change happens when you engage and you commit. So I invite you to join the Dark Work community inside the Dark Work app, which is where you communicate with amazing people on the same journey as you. You can find them on the App Store and the Google Play Store right now. Step into the conversations that sharpen your habits, strengthen your identity, and keep you locked in to the Dark Work.